What is up, y'all? My name is Funky T-Bone, and I'm the beginner-friendly sim racing guy. And a little bit of a departure from what this channel normally is, I'm going to talk about real-life racing because my wife and I just got back from the Japanese Grand Prix. I want to tell you how it was. Super quick, I want to say thank you to my two channel members, Raymond Smith and LionLover66. I really appreciate you guys supporting me here on YouTube. It's just $3 a month, which I think is like 10 cents a day. If you enjoy the channel and you want to support, please become a channel member. You get all videos a day early. Let's get into what it was like at the Japanese Grand Prix. So for context, I've been to COTA before. I've actually been to COTA, I think 5 times, but this is the first Grand Prix I've ever been to outside of the country. And Japan is very far outside of the country for me. My wife and I got married in 2022, and we said we wanted to do a honeymoon in Japan. And that was actually before she got into Formula One. So she got into Formula One in 2023. We're both giant nerds, so it was kind of, you know, a given that we wanted to do Japan for like anime culture and Gundams, and it's also just a beautiful country. But now that she's an F1 fan like me, we also got to make it about the Japanese Grand Prix. And first and foremost, it was an amazing, amazing trip. We started with the GP, and then we did about a week in Tokyo. And I think that's how we're going to do our vacation every year, is do one Grand Prix and then do 4 or 5 days in whatever city that Grand Prix is near. I will say the first thing you notice at the Japanese Grand Prix, at least in April when we went, is the cherry blossoms. So obviously Japan is very famous for the cherry blossoms, but I didn't know that blooming season, that blooming window, is only for like a few days. Like if you're a week late or even 5 days late, you'll miss it entirely. So we were really lucky that we got there in absolute peak bloom, excuse me. And it just made the track super gorgeous. And the track itself is an amazing track. So we sat in the very middle of Casio Triangle. So we sat basically right as you come into the chicane. I'll put a picture on the screen of where we sat. But right as you come into the final chicane and then start the start finish straight, that's where we sat. But because of the elevation change of the track and the fact that it's figure eight, we could actually see a lot. So we could see the back part of turn 1, we could see a little bit of the S's, we could see them exit the S's, we could see Degna 1, and then they would we'd lose them for a while, and then we could see them come into 130R. We didn't go on Friday. It's not a sprint weekend, and I'll be honest, practice is kind of boring to watch. So I suggest watching it if you've never been to a race before. Like if you've never been to a Grand Prix weekend, get all 3 days, get use out of all 3 days because they're pretty expensive. But if you've been to one before, the practice really is just the cars kind of driving around in a circle. It's not terribly interesting. Qualifying is fun to go to. It's also a good day to like go and figure out everything, figure out where where the water fountains are, because it's going to be hot as balls on the track and there's no shade anywhere. Figure out where, get all your swag and get everything that you want to buy, your merch, because they always sell out by the last day. They don't bring that much merch to the races. Figure out food situations, how to get in and out of the track. So for Suzuka, it's not close to anything. So it's about a 40-minute train ride to get there. Fun fact, I got recognized on the train. That was insane. I do not think that my content had reached that many people, but someone walked up to me as we were exiting the train and said, "Hey bro, I love your content." And then they scampered off before I could talk to them. So if you're watching this and that's you, let me know in the comments what kind of hat you're wearing. I want to get with that person. It was a super cool moment. I've never been recognized outside of the country or in the country that I live in. So to be in Japan, several thousand miles away from home, that was a pretty cool moment. Now, as far as fan experience, again, I can only compare this to COTA because that's the only place I've been. But COTA is like a festival vibe. Like you can tell they're kind of trying to match South by Southwest, Coachella, that kind of shit. So there's like a lot of open green spaces. There's a lot of like music. It's there's always bands at COTA, so that's cool because you get to see pretty big shows. We've seen Tiesto and Taylor Swift and Elton John and who's the blind one? Stevie Wonder. I've seen Stevie Wonder at COTA. That comes with your tickets. That's pretty cool. That is not what it's like in Japan. In Suzuka, it's very much about the racing, and you can tell that. So I would say at COTA, there were a lot of people that we saw on Sunday that like they obviously didn't really know much about Formula One. They were like, this seems like a fun thing to do. Let's go do that on a Sunday, which is wild because it's so expensive. But that was not in Japan. Anyone that we spoke to that spoke English, at least, they knew exactly, like they were huge fans of the sport. They knew exactly what was going on. They were very well educated. The Japanese fans are incredibly polite, which I thought was funny. So in the US, people cheer for their favorite driver right as they drive by. Every lap you would hear cheers for like Logan or Lewis, Charles, some of the big names, Lando. Also, because it's in Texas, you see a lot of Mexican fans for Checo, and they would cheer every time he came by. In Japan, they don't do that. It's polite clapping. That's all they would do. That is the most, even in like exciting moments, even in the overtakes and stuff like that, it was We had some Australians sitting in front of us. They did not polite clap. That was pretty funny. But yeah, the Japanese fans were super respectful. And just it felt like everybody wanted to be there. Everybody was happy to be there. There weren't arguments. There weren't fights in the stands. It was not like being at a race in America at all. Everyone was really excited to be there. Also, the track was just a much better experience. So at Circuit Americas, you have to pay for everything. You have to pay. You pay to show up, and then anything else you do, you pay for. Right? There's like no free water. We found a couple of water fountains. There's no free amenities. There's nothing to do. Like everything you have to pay for. In Japan, they had a ton of stuff that was free. So the amusement park was included in our tickets. So the big Ferris wheel that's super famous. There was a like Honda racing exhibit where you could go in and see different classic Honda cars. So they had, some of the famous ones like Jensen Buttons and a lot of cool stuff there. And you just walk in, it's totally free. Also, you could tell the track was really steeped in racing history. So we walked around in kind of the downtimes. If you've never been to a race weekend, it's just like the regular weekend where there's like several hours between pre-practice 3 and qualifying. But since you're there, you can't, it's not like watching on TV. Like you can go do stuff when you're watching on TV. When you're there, you have to figure out what to do. So we walked around the track and they had like little, I didn't take a picture of it because I wanted to be respectful, but there was like a little shrine to a MotoGP driver that died in that spot of the track. And there was tons of history. And like I said, it really felt like a special place, Suzuka. Like Coda is pretty new. It doesn't really have that history. It's the better track of the America tracks. But Japan is obviously a very famous, very historical, very significant track. And it felt that way to be there, at least for me. The food was phenomenal. That was the best food I've ever had. And it was like track food. It was cheap. So at Circuit Americas, I'm not exaggerating. I bought a half-size bottle of Topo Chico, which is like sparkling water, if you don't know what that is. A half-size bottle of sparkling water. It was $18. $18. So I would go and I would buy like 3 or 4 bottles, and those were my water bottles for the weekend because it's hot as balls at Coda. In Japan, everything was super cheap, so we would get like full meals for like $4. It was really good food. It was like bento boxes or fried chicken or whatever it was, but it was really excellent. And the race day vibe was just unmatched. It was super fun. They gave out flags for everyone to have, so everyone in the stand was waving their little flags. It was just a really, really, really cool event. I cannot recommend it enough. The Japanese Grand Prix was a truly, genuinely amazing event. I'm sure that there are other races that are also great. I'm not saying it's the best. I've only been to 2, right? But every year we're going to try and add one to that tally. And the last thing I'll say is, as a sim racer, like as someone that's what this channel is about, is right, sim racing, is when I went to Coda, I didn't really want to like drive Coda afterwards. Like I didn't care. It was a cool track to go to and it was a fun race to go to, but it wasn't like I would come back home and like, oh, let me drive Coda. But seeing Suzuka, I definitely, like, that's what we did on stream for a while, is we did a lot of races in Suzuka. Just because it really is an amazing track. And it was more fun to be able to go, we sat there, we saw this, whatever, right? If you enjoyed this, if you enjoyed hearing about real life racing, just enjoyed the video anyway, please like it. I'm trying to get to 50 likes. I've never gotten to 50 likes on a long form video, and I'm trying to get better at making long form videos, so please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, as a little treat, and you can skip this, it won't hurt my feelings, as a little treat, I left in a haul of exactly all the stuff I bought, which includes all the Formula 1 merch and all the nerd stuff. So I'm a giant nerd. You can see by my room behind me. I left that in. I'm gonna add this right now. So I'll be in different clothes because I recorded it right after I got back. But that'll show you all the nerd shit I bought. And it'll let you know a little bit more about me. If you don't want to watch that, this is essentially the end of the video. So I appreciate you sticking around. Please let me know in the comments what race you want to attend most. And as always, guys, keep it funky. So if you're wondering why I'm in different clothes now than in the rest of the video, it's because I filmed this previously because I wanted to get rid of all the shit that I had stacked up on my dining room table so I could unpack and my wife wouldn't kill me. This is the part of the video where I show you everything I got in Japan. This is not just F1 stuff. This is just general nerdy stuff, all the things I got. But yeah, this will be all of the stuff that I bought in Japan, and it'll kind of let you know a little bit more about me, a little bit about my other hobbies outside of F1. First and foremost, I got this Ferrari hat. This is not a driver hat, so it's just Ferrari in general. I really struggled between this and the Carlos Sainz because I think too many people like Charles Leclerc, if I'm really honest. But I decided against this one so that I could also use it to support Lewis at Ferrari next year, because obviously I'm a giant Lewis fan. And then I also got this Yuki Tsunoda towel, which I actually really love. It's not It got kind of beat up when I folded it, but I really love this. I got it in Japan. Obviously, Yuki's the only Japanese driver. There's a lot of support for Yuki. Funny enough, they don't really support, like, they're not, I think I covered this elsewhere in the video. They're not very loud supporters. They just would, like, do polite clapping every time he drove by, but it was only after he got in the point. It wasn't like they clapped every time he was driving by. When he was out of the points, they didn't care. I also bought a little Lewis keychain, a little bear, but it fell off before we even left the race that day, so that kind of sucks, but we lost that, so... Anyway, but yeah, now this is going to be some of the luxury goods I got, and then just general nerdy shit. I'm a giant nerd. I'm big into anime. It's Japan. They're all big into anime. It's actually way more prevalent there than I thought. I thought it would be like here where there's sci-fi stuff, but it's like outside of who, you know, of the regular folks. No, anime is very mainstream there. I think that's like their TV. I don't think they have a lot of live action TV. Anyway, I'm a huge fragrance person, so I got this Labo bottle, which I've actually been really looking for a long time. It was dirt cheap there. This will just not focus. Well, anyway, you can see it. They actually customize it, so it says in Tokyo the date you bought it, and I put my name on it. We also went to a Japanese temple, and they have all these little amulets for sale. So this one specifically is for mental clarity or like peace of mind or something like that. It was 1,000 yen, which is dirt cheap. That's $6. I feel like you would pay a lot more for something like that in the States, but you're supposed to exchange it every year and get a different one. Well, I guess not a different one, but you get a new one. We obviously can't do that because we don't live there. So we're going to hang this up in my house. I just, you know, with all the stuff I have going on, I have a full-time job, I have content, I have a wife with a house, with dogs. Like I struggle a lot with kind of keeping my mind clear and not stressing out about things. And, you know, maybe it was a placebo, maybe it's not, I don't know. But as soon as I got this, I was much more at peace. And I now maybe I'm a big believer now. I don't know. I'm a huge watch guy, and I may have been a little drunk walking around Ginza, and we found a Swatch store. So if you don't know what this is, can't get anything to focus today. That's about the best we can do. You know, if you don't know what this is, Omega, which is what James Bond wears, it's a very nice watch brand, partnered with Swatch. Swatch is a very cheap watch brand, and they made the moon swatches. So it's one for every planet. This is the Earth one. I also have the Pluto one. But I'm a huge watch guy, and I love this. If you've seen anything about Japan, you've probably seen how many Kit Kat versions they have. So this is like a key lime pie type of thing. I don't know. I haven't even tried it yet. It's an interesting fact. When you go to Japan and you're a foreigner, you can buy pretty much everything tax-free as long as you spend over 5,000 yen, which isn't that much. It sounds like a lot. But they put it in a bag, and you're not supposed to open it at all until you leave Japan. Like, they're not like, and it says all over in English and Japanese and every other language, like, do not open. They take it very seriously. Apparently they can even like check your bag and charge you tax after the fact if you have opened it, because it means that you may be trying to resell it. They didn't check it, but that's why I haven't opened it yet. A little bit of nerd shit. So I recently started watching Dragon Ball, and the creator of Dragon Ball Z, the whole franchise, Akira Toriyama, recently passed away. So I got this English Dragon Ball manga while I was there, and then I got, just for like decorations on my shelf, I got 2 Japanese mangas. This is my hero. I think it was just a cool, I like my hero, but it was just a cool cover. And this is Power from Chainsaw, my first waifu. Don't tell my real wife. Also, don't Google what that means if you don't know. And before I go get more shit, this is just a handkerchief that I bought at Nagoya Castle. It's really nice. It's really pretty. I carry a hanky. Sometimes you gotta blow your nose. I get snotty. I'm sorry. All right, I'm gonna go get more stuff. I got a fat stack of Pokemon cards. This is like 35, 33, 37. I failed at math there. 38. This is like 40 packs of Pokemon cards that I got in Japan. They're in Japanese, but it's like the same shit. But funny enough, if you don't, so I collect Pokemon cards. If you don't know, the Pokemon card pack in Japan is different than those in the US. The US has like 10 or 11 cards or something like that, and these come with usually like 4 or 5, but you're guaranteed like better shit. I've also been trying to get into Yu-Gi-Oh, so I got 2 Yu-Gi-Oh packs just for fun. I'm kind of, you know, there, might as well. And these are pretty cool. So these are 2 packs each that you actually get out of a vending machine. So you get out of the vending machine, you put in your coins. It was like 300 yen, which is again dirt cheap. Everything I say in yen, you can multiply by 0.0066. Get that into US dollars. Best of luck to get them in euros. But anyway, you would go into, it was like a gumball machine almost. They're called gachas. They're super popular in Japan. But you plug in your coins and they spit out a couple of cards. So these are the couple, like, these are some of the Dragon Ball Z stuff. And this set is not in America yet, to my knowledge. So that's kind of cool. So this is going to be a little weird. I brought back a few coins from Japan. Anyway, brought back a handful of coins because I smoke cigars. And when I smoke cigars, I have a little box, a little wooden box that has like my cutter and my lighter and a couple of other tools that you use for cigars in there. And I like to keep various changes from the trips we've done. So I think I got some stuff from our Canada trip. We got stuff from the Bahamas, from a cruise. Like I keep just a few coins in there, just little knickknacks. I just think it looks neat. It reminds me of those like video game loading screens when you see like it's like a desk and it's got like a dagger in it and an ink pot, and like I don't know why, but that's why I do it. So I always bring back a few things to change. We just got a fuck ton of nerd stickers just because who doesn't need stickers? I can put them on my hard hat at work, I can put them on my computer, put them on my iPad case. I have a hard time with stickers though, because like I always feel like you're gonna fuck it up basically. Like you know, what if you lose that object? All stickers around, but life's too short. Turtwig, my favorite starter. Tied very closely with Squirtle. If you're watching this, Valdo, you know who you are. You know why I said this. Another thing about me is I do a lot of journaling. So I write, I feel like it's good to get your thoughts on paper. I'll talk about goals. I'll kind of plan in it a little bit. So I got this Traveler toolbox, Traveler company. It's like a metal tin, almost like an ammo container in a way, but I got this specifically to house my fountain pen collection. And in that same store, I got this pen, which has a felt tip. God, I can't get a single thing to focus today. A felt tip, but with a fountain pen attachment, so you can draw any ink you want into it and then use the felt tip. So that's kind of cool. Again, you guys just, you know, I know that I make F1 content, but this is just you kind of getting to know a little bit more about me. And I think it's kind of fun. I thought about making this a members only portion of the video, but I have 2 members, so might as well just blast it out and let you guys skip. All right, let me get more stuff. Rivet pack. I'll grab one of these Yu-Gi-Oh packs. I really should have like a secondary camera on for this. I also have no idea. So when you open trading card packs, there's like a certain order to do it where you get the coolest card last. I don't know that for Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh, it's not even. It's one card. It's a cool card, but I thought this would be more than one card. So, oops. What else in there? No, there's something else in there. What is that? Oh, it's just one of those. What the fuck is that? What? Am I this nerd ignorant? I could not tell you what this is. I got Pokemon contact lens case because I have bad vision. I'm not gonna show you guys each one of these because there's a lot of them, but basically what I noticed in Japan is everybody, young, old, male, female, whatever, has these little bag, like keychain type things hanging off their bags. Because everyone has a backpack or a crossbody bag. It's, you know, Tokyo's very like walkable. And a lot of them are nerd shits, though. A lot of them would be like cute little stuffed animals or nerd things. So we bought a ton of that because a lot of the shopping you do is just nerd shit. So this is all going to be anime related. I was going to show you some of my favorites because I got a lot of them. Chainsaw Man. You know this. It's kind of cool. It's that like rubberized whatever. This is probably my favorite one. This is a Gundam. I'm going to talk more on Gundam in a minute. Gundam's the big mecha, like the original Pacific Rim type thing. It's the original. It's Gundam. There's Deku from My Hero. Squirtle Squirt. Yu Hakusho. What do you know about that? That's some original shit. That's like 1989 right there, baby. Did he do anything wrong? Do you know who this is? Did he do anything wrong? I don't think he did anything wrong, if I'm honest. And then here's a few things that I got out of like vending machines, those gotcha things that I told you about. As I said earlier, I'm big into journaling. This is my current journal. It's got a lot of good stuff in it. I'm obviously not going to show you guys, but I bought this little like amulet tag or whatever. Go on it. So it says, fly to the world from Japan, Traveler's Factory made in Tokyo. Cool little thing. Along the lines, I got a bunch of these like disposable pins. Their disposable pins are better than most of our like fancy pins, so I got a bunch of these. This one's purple. Purple's my favorite color. These are two things that I got from the Pokestop. So huge Pokemon fan. And we went to the Pokemon stop. We actually went to two, funny enough, but we went to there's like a main one, and there's a second one that is less cool but has Mew in front of it, which is more cool. Photo. There. Anyway, so yeah, these are like, you don't know what it's going to be. So it could be any of these options for what comes out. Same with this. Okay, so this is the last thing I'm going to show you, and it's probably what I'm most excited for. So I am a big fan of Gundam, specifically Gunpla, which is Gundam plastic model kits. So you cut them apart, you put them together, and they make Gundams. Here's one, right? It's just a robot. Supposed to be like a mech. This is the Freedom Gundam, I think. He's all fucked up, but it's like articulated. You can move it. He's supposed to be holding a gun, which makes me concerned for where that is. But yeah, you can like move him around. Anyway, you build them, right? And it's big in Japan because it started in Japan. So even the boxes that you get today, they're shipped straight from Japan. There's no English. There's no like the directions are just pictures, so it doesn't matter. It's like IKEA, right? Well, in Tokyo, there's a giant statue of a Gundam. Photo. There. I'm really bad at pointing on the camera. And where that giant Gundam is, there's a store. And in that store, there's stuff that you can only get in that store. And in the Gunpla world, that's a big deal. So I got three things. Because, right, we were flying back from Tokyo to America. So we got three things. We got the RX-72, which is the main Gundam. Like that's the main one that you've seen probably on everything in clear, so it's translucent. Super excited for that. Got the Unicorn Gundam, which is what we saw, except this is the red destroy mode. Very excited for that. Almost broke something. And then this. This you can only get in this one store in Tokyo. This is the Master Grade Gundam Base Limited Unicorn Gundam Luminous Crystal Body. So it's green crystals. It glows in the dark. I'm super excited to build it once I'm done. So, right, this one is yay tall. That one will be about yay tall. So it's a lot bigger, a lot beefier. I'm super excited. Thank you for letting me nerd out for that for a second. I felt like a Gundam creator, and I'm not a Gundam creator, but I'm excited to do it. Thank you guys for watching this bit of it. This video in itself being F1 content versus F1 game content is already a little bit of a departure from what I'm used to doing, so hopefully it does well. And then this portion is just a little bit about me and my other interest outside of just racing. So thank you for taking the time to watch it and appreciate what I'm into. And let me know in the comments what you're into outside of racing, or what you like to collect, or whatever.